Alright, welcome back to the video. I'm going to try to do better than the last episode. I'll show you more of the build, but I already kind of goofed up. Today what I'm doing outside is I'm making some cab cards, or car cards, whatever they're called. That way for when it comes to the switching aspect. Just an extra little level. It's more for the operations. Alright, so I have this setup going. I bought this at Westside Train and Hobby because I think it was on sale, if I remember. My wife had this grass she got, I think, during Christmas, holiday time, and because she's into crafting and that sort of stuff. So she had no use for it, so she gave it to me thinking I might have use for it. Which case it's actually working out today. 2 lengths of the track, and then I'll put the cars on there. And of course, right now you gotta watch the shadowing, but I might actually be able to do it here. So what I'm figuring is taking the shot for cab cards like this with the backdrop and everything out here like this, and going and getting them printed out, and then in a future portion of this video, hopefully I'll be able to show you what I'm going to do with those cab cards. I got the photos done, and I figure this is a perfect time because I know I've had some people question on Facebook in the N-Scale groups how I transport the cars without getting them damaged, and that's a legitimate good question. Leaving them on the track is not an option. If I'm going around the parking lot really slowly, it's fine, but N-Scale is just so light. I'm more of an HO scale, and I'm used to the weight of those cars. These cars are super light, so I had to figure something out. And originally I started out with an old ammo can, and it was fine, but I left them in the jewel cases, and which would be perfect transportation. But with so many cars, it's just going to take up too much room. It filled up that ammo can way too quickly. So there's what I did with the layout. I had to put these down on here to kind of help out because this mat was still rolled up pretty well. So that gave me enough, and I just kind of sat the camera down here. It was a little bit lower with the photo, and got some good shots. So I'll do some editing with that and then go and get them printed. But I've got this container here. It was like $5-7, something like that. And I was at Home Depot, and they had these, I think it was like a 10-pack, maybe more, maybe less, of these little foam envelopes. Right now what I've done is I'll stick the 2 in one envelope, like that, fold it over, and then they will sit in there like that, and then it's perfect. Right now, the way it is, I've got just enough to fill up here. The locomotives sit there, and then the lid goes and snaps on, and it is nice and tight. Cars don't move, they don't shift, they don't roll, they don't hit each other. So that's what I've done right now. Of course, I could always expand to a bigger one if I need to, but this fits up perfectly right beside the layout in the little shelf up top. So that's what I do. What are we doing today, boss? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. We are going to be taking our photos that we got printed at Walgreens and we are going to make our car cards. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, cut each of them out. These are the photos I did the other day, which is at the very beginning of the video, which was just 2 seconds ago, but you know. I'm going to cut these out, and I'm going to take them. I'm going to cut this piece of paper up. These are freight waybills, and there's 4 per, which is nice. But so when we get into real operations, we can have the consignee, the address, the routing via shipper address, lading, and we will, well, I was thinking of making kind of like an envelope where we can stick the card in to the thing, but I think I'm just going to leave an area blank where I can take little clips and just take the freight waybill and just clip it to it with the picture and the information up top. So let me go ahead and cut these out. That's going to be the first step. Cut these out so that way I can size up the paper a little bit better as to what I want to do. So I have marked each paper. I had to do some math, which was really kind of hard for me. Originally I was going to cut them lengthways, but I couldn't do the math to get it just right. So it was easier just to make it this way. Here I can get 4 across, and it's actually nice because that gives me 4 nice long sheets to deal with. So I've already done 2 up here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of them. Alright, just about there. I wish I used my X-Acto knife to cut the pictures, and I kind of wish I wouldn't have. Figured that would have been a better blade for it, but I should have gone with this knife, because this knife has actually been really good to cut this construction paper. So, live and learn. We'll get it centered up, and then I'll drop a line, and then I'll do the... I got to figure out if I want the picture up top and then the information, or if I want the information then the picture, and then the waybill would be tapped down there, or do I want the waybill up here, picture down here? I'm going to figure that out. So I figured it out. I'm going to do picture, the information, and then waybills. These didn't turn out quite as well as I wanted them to, as I was hoping. You know how you always have that thought in your head that, you know, things are going to look great, and then you do them and you're like, yeah, they look all right. You know, I mean, I'm not complaining. For the first time that I'm doing something like this, I think they look pretty good. I did start out with a Sharpie pen that I have here that's got a very fine tip. But it is old, and I think it's just about garbage. So it really wasn't turning out quite the way. I don't know if we can see it on camera there with the lighting. Some of them, they were turning out all right, but it was taking a little bit. You can see this one's a little faint and everything. So I ended up going with this marker here, which a Prismacolor, which has a fine tip on it, but it's a little thicker, plus it's brown. So it's not black. Alright, I'm just about done. I got a little stack of boxcars to do still. Matching up the photos with the information. This is Greenville Northern Railroad, so we'll just do G, N, and R. Well, we're on to the laminating stage now, and I think it's working out pretty well. Let's see if I do that. Give it a wing go, we'll see. Alright. Last sheet is going in. If I would have done 3 on the first 2, then I wouldn't need to do this one, but it's all good. It's, like I said, it's a learning curve, and I think I've turned out pretty well. I do like the laminator came with 3mm envelopes, whatever they're called, pouches, but I bought 5mm, and I think the 5mm is actually a little bit better. It seemed to hold up a little bit better. It seems it's still pen and gear. It's the same manufacturer, so I think sticking with 5mm for the rest of them, or not for the rest of them, but for whenever I make any more. And I think that seems to work out pretty well. Alright, down to the final stretch, which is nice. So thankfully I've got this mat here that I can kind of get kind of like a 1/4 inch of material along the edges, which works out pretty well for the sides as well, like top and bottom. With the 3 in here, I don't have much room to play around with, so I tried to get them centered as much as I could in the sheet, and the rest is just going to be a matter of, you know, millimeters. So just do what I can. Again, you know, they're not perfect. They're not professional grade. They're not, you know, they're for, let's face it, they're for toys, okay? So now we'll go like that. And now I have a fistful of cab cards. So with the cab cards now, I've got the pictures, I've got the information, and then I didn't, for the locomotives, I could have put consist or something maybe. Oh well. Got the locomotives, got my flatbeds, or sorry, gondolas, got my 2 tankers, got my hoppers, and then I got all sorts of box cars. So you do that, and then you grab one of these, you fill it out, you know, all that information, and you take it, and I don't want to break it off yet, but take it, pin it to it, and then you put it in. And then when it comes to doing the Inglenook switching, basically, you know, those won't really matter, but it kind of throws it off with the colors, because it won't be quite, you'll know that you're getting something, but you know, you can just kind of shuffle them up like a deck of cards, whatever the case is, right? And then you know, then you can go, so you know you need 8 cars, so you can just go 1, 2, you know, 3. I think I got 8 there now. And then when you roll the die, then you go, you know, you'll roll 1 to 8, and then whichever one. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So say on the first roll I rolled a 7, so this is going to go in position number 7. Then I rolled 3, so this will go on 3. This was a 5, and this was a 6, so that'll go like that. And then, you know, so you can just kind of build it. This one was number 8, and this one was number 1, and so that's the order of the train that you need to build. And I think that works out. The pictures help out and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm happy with it. So all right, on that note, I've got other things I have to go and do to get ready to leave tomorrow. This took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but it was worth it, and I wanted to make sure it was done because I'm going to be gone for at least a month and a half. And yeah, so I wanted to make sure that I had it done and that I can play around with my trains the way I want them to. So on that note, thanks for watching. Hopefully it inspired you to do something similar. If not, hopefully it entertained you at the very least. All right, take care. Bye.